Okay, let's shuffle the cards. I'm using the Tarot of Dreams this morning. Let's see what we have with that. So I'll pick our 18 cards and then we'll look at it together and see what the story is today. What is Tarot going to tell us? So this morning I got up and listened to Tim. I think most people on this channel know Tim, Telltale Tarot. He did a very nice talk today on spirituality and the fatal beliefs of those that say they're Christian. You know, I've been saved by the blood of Christ, so I can do whatever the frick I want to do and be as hateful as I can, and I'm good. Oh, you think so, huh? But he gave a very nice talk this morning. I agree with him 100%. We're usually right straight in alignment with each other, you know. So let's go ahead and now pull the cards and then we'll look at them together and just see what it has to say this morning. See if we can figure out what it's pointing to. But, yep. So first thing this morning, I'm going to go over and see if I can get my car finally registered. Be good to have that out of the way. So what's under the surface is driving it, are the messages, emotional messages. Sometimes this can be in the negative, the fishtails, the lies, the spin. In the positive, it's the message, Christian, true spiritual message. So which way is this? What is being driven with this today? Let's look and see. So the reading's about Ace of Coins, new, what's coming in. Now, the coins can be either monetary or it is the grounded happenings, the daily happenings, okay? So, new things coming out, something new. New judgments coming out, okay? New judgments coming out. New path, new judgments rapidly. So again, I think this has to do with the monetary thing in this and his fishtails, his spins, his lies. Okay? Judgment. Because those, like I said, the owners of Walmart and Target and all of those very wealthy donors, they're getting hit with this and they're not happy, okay, with the tariff situation. So we have the King of Cups, usually my card for democracy. It's also about if you're ruling your emotions or not, but let's look and see. Yeah, the defending, having to defend democracy is what it's looking like, okay? Having to defend democracy, judging. Where are you going to go? Do you want to have a dictator? Do you want dictator over there running the country, or do you want to save democracy? Okay. So the lid is off. And rapidly this stuff is emerging. So now, as of yesterday, the tariffs really kicked in. Okay? So this is, at this point, we're going to start seeing things taking place very quickly. They are feeling the loss, okay? The loss. So they're looking at this new path that's coming when it comes to democracy and feeling the loss. Yeah, this is the wealthy. The wealthy are seeing now, judging and seeing what they need to defend to keep their cushy life. Okay? The lid is off. And this stuff is coming rapidly. Okay? It's not just affecting the poor. It's also affecting the wealthy. Okay? So the challenge is, the concern. They're in that bubble, and that bubble's about to be popped. Okay? The hard truth. The hard truth, a lot of concern when it comes, and loss coming when it comes to what's being birthed. Reality is setting in when it comes to managing their money, their daily life, what they have, what they don't have. Okay? So where is the faith? This is also the card for their dark agenda. Trying to put in this dark government. Okay? And the misery people are feeling with it. The strength of what's taking place. When it comes to what's being given out or not. Okay? The tariffs are going to make everybody wealthy. We're not going to have taxes anymore. He's such an idiot. Okay? We're going to make them pay. Yeah, So we have here, the victory, wanting a victory. Faith, praying for a victory. But he's living in his world of wealth. That's the world he lives in, the world he wants to surround himself with. A victory for the world of wealth, but the wheel is turning. So his delusional ideas about this, he's got no idea what general wealth is, wealth of spirit, wealth of that. And he thinks, again, in his delusion of these tariffs, and he's surrounding himself with the wealthy that are really not happy at this moment, okay? The victory, he thought he's going to have a victory by surrounding himself with the wealthy, the billionaires, okay? I'm going to be a winner because I'm surrounding myself. I'm living in a palace of wealth, okay? But the wheel is turning. And what's driving it are these messages. And there are emotional messages. And the fishtails, the lies, the spins that he's been in, okay, are going to hit. So let's go ahead and break down the reading. Rapidly, the lid is off when it comes to the cushy life and the message about what's actually being given out. Okay? And judgment, having to defend the wealthy are seeing the judgment coming in and defending what's being birthed and strengthened, okay? So they're on the defensive now in judgment with what he's doing. So we have something new emerging when it comes to democracy and this feeling of loss, and the bubble is bursting on his dark government. Okay, a lot of concern about it, what he's doing, is coming to light now. So something new from the dark government about what's being handed out rapidly coming. So that would be the reality of the tariffs. It's now hitting. It's now hitting. So at the center of it, we have the wealthy repugly uglies, okay? And now, having to defend what's being birthed, they're looking at what's coming. They're feeling the loss, a lot of loss in their personal lives, okay? And they're looking at democracy and putting the message out. You know, if you want a democratic place where you got free trade and everything, that is now being that's now being challenged with his wanting to be a dictator. Okay? Well, they're seeing that doesn't work well for free trade and how they've built their business. So now they're feeling this loss coming to their doors. And the lid is off when it comes to the bubble being burst, and a lot of concern that they're having now with this nightmare scenario. So defending it, the judgment for them and their wealth, those of a lot of wealth, are looking at having to defend this judgment when it comes to keeping democracy in place. And so new things are going to be coming out by those of wealth that it's affecting them personally, and rapidly they see that this loss is coming to their door, and they do not like it. Okay, so the wealthy in power, what's being birthed, they're seeing the strength of it, a lot of concern, messages they're putting out. They're looking at this dark drama that he's trying to instigate. And again, they're feeling the loss of what's being handed out. They're losing their dividends and their, all of these things that are happening is now coming to fruition. So they are not happy. So the wealthy are now going to start turning the tide against Trumpenstein. So let's do the clarification and see what it says about this. So the center of it, we have his madness, He's batshit crazy. We got the bats there, batshit crazy when it comes to this. Okay? So we're looking at the strength of his insanity. And again, where it's affecting their cushy lives. They're feeling loss already. The strength of the loss because of his insanity. So they're going to be putting out something new. Again, this is the new grounded happenings with the tariffs. It's really going to be affecting them. So we have the Lovers. Underneath his batshit crazy, the foundation is about it. We'll see what they do now above it. We see what's being offered here. And what's being offered is a lot of loss. Okay? Not something they're happy with. Because it's, again, this new thing that's coming in is affecting the wealthy. These were the ones that were really supporting him to keep their cushy lifestyle. But now, all of that is being challenged. So we have a victory They want a victory coming together when it comes to his batshit crazy ideas. There are messages being put out. They are in an agreement. They are going to be pushing back the fight for action. They're talking to him about controlling this, okay? Controlling the action, because now they are burdened by his insanity, okay? And they want a victory when it comes to this. And they are all in agreement about the action that needs to take place. These Republicans, the very wealthy Republic-uglies, about this new thing with the tariffs, etc., that is affecting their cushy lives, and they're not having it. They're facing the loss that's being offered to them now, the strength of it, the losses they're facing. And so they are really fighting, pushing back, and talking to Trumpenstein in no uncertain terms about his idea of where he's living in this palace of wealth. And they're living in this palace of action, wealth and action, okay? This is their mindset, where they live. They live in gaining monetary stuff and taking action. And they're looking at this with the long term and what's being overturned when it comes to the White House and his greed and his delusion. So the wealthy are now putting out these messages, okay? And they are living in this palace of truth, okay? Truth, action, wealth. And they're all in agreement when it comes to what Trump is doing with the tariffs, okay? So to say Trump is not going to have a good day, yeah. The poor are not happy with him, and now the wealthy are turning on him too. In no uncertain terms, the wealthy, they're not having his back anymore. The wealthy are at this point saying, you need to watch your back. Because, et tu, Brutus. You know? So, yeah. Trumpenstein is in a world of hurt. Okay? Because the more money they lose, they are not going to play nice when it comes to dealing with Trump. So on that note, I'll leave that here. We'll see you online.